Hello, I'm going to explain how to use the graph calculator to find the function from a data set. Uh, the graph could be exponential function or linear function or quadratic function. I'm going to use the Casio graph calculator. If you don't have one, you can download an emulator from education.casio.co.uk. They have two models. You can download it for PC or Mac. The model they have FX-CJ50 or CJ20. After the installation, this is how the software will look like for the graph calculator. So if you have the function, you can use the graph tab to graph the function. If you have a data set, you have to use the statistics to enter the data set to draw the graph and determine is it linear, exponential, or quadratic. So the first example we're going to take from Algebra 2, Volume 2, page 723 to use a data set to show a linear function. So we're going to use the data set to be entered in the graph calculator and find out how you can find the function from the graph calculator. So my recommendation is to simplify the numbers. So instead of using 1990, 1991, you can use the first number, which is 0, 1, all the way to 10. Then the second number, you can divide it by 1,000 to simplify it. So it's going to be 3.04. The next one will be 3.4. So you do the rounding to simplify the numbers. The third one will be 3.8, and then you do the rest to divide by 1,000 and do the rounding. So to enter the data set, you can use the cursor to go from one option to another. So you go to statistics by using the arrow. Then when you select statistics, you press enter on the keyboard. Then you start entering the data. So the data we talked about start from 0 all the way to 10. So you can start with list 1. List 1 will represent X, and list 2 will represent Y. So you enter the values. You can enter all X values first, then you start entering the Y values. So they have 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. After entering the last value 10, you go back all the way to the first value 0, then using the arrow to shift to the list 2, so you start entering the Y value. So the first Y value, as we mentioned, we divide by 1,000. It's gonna be 3.04, then enter. The second value will be 3.4, enter, and you continue entering the remaining values. So the last value will be value 10, which is 6.5. Now, after we finish entering the data set, you can select the graph option. So this is the data set we're trying to determine the graph for it. So you can see the first option is graph. You click on it, you click graph 1, and from this data set we can tell it's a linear function because it's the line is going straight, and it's a growth linear function. Now, to be able to determine what's the function for this graph, we select the option of calc, which is calculate. Then for linear function, we use the x represent linear function, x power 2 represent quadratic function, and the exponential exp represent the exponential function. So to go back and select x for linear function. Now here you need to pick which type of format of function you want it to be represented. So we're going to use the first one, which is ax plus b, and here you can see the y value equal ax plus b, and it gave you the gave us the value for a, which is 0.34. B value is 3.04. So the final function will be y equal the a value, which is 0.34 multiply x plus b, which is 3.04. So this is how you can find the function, the linear function for the data set we have. So the second example, we're going to use exponential function data set from Algebra 2, Volume 2, page 725. And the data set showing the difference is 1940, 1950. So what we can do is starting with 40, 50, 60, all the way to 100. This way we simplify the x value. For the y value, we can divide by 1,000. So the first value will be 1.3, 3.2 after rounding, 4.8, all the way to 39.24. So again, to able to go back and enter a new data set, we do select exit to exit from what screen we are at right now, and this is the data set we have. Now we need to update the data set. You can delete the entire data set by pressing delete on the keyboard, because the values is different. It's going to start from 40 all the way to 100. So we can do delete for all the values. The same thing for the y values. You can press delete on the keyboard. It's going to delete the whole values. Now we start entering the starting point, the initial value, which is 40, 50, and the last value is 100. Now we go all the way to the top using the cursor up. We go to value 40. Now we start entering the y value. So the first value after we divide it by 1,000 is going to be 1.3. The second value will be 3.1. And the last value we entered, which is 100, the y value is 339.24. To do the graph, we click on graph 1, and by looking at the data set we have, we can see that it's exponential growth. So to find the function for the exponential growth, we click on calc. Then we click on the arrow to the right to get to the EXP, which is short for exponential, and we click on exponential. Now it asks, is it base E? So the first value is A multiply E power bx. So it's not a base E. We are using the AB power x. And you can see the function now, y equal a multiply b power x. The a value is 0.17, and the b value is 1.06. So the final function is going to be y equal 0.17 multiply 1.06 power x. Now, the next example we're going to take is the quadratic function. So the data set for that from the Algebra 2, Volume 2, page 725. And the data set, same thing, start with 1950. We can simplify that using 50, 60, 70, all the way to 100. Or actually 110, and the values already simplified, so it shows 30.2, 29.5, so we don't need to simplify it any further. We just enter the data in the data set. To go back to the main menu, we do exit from the data set. To go to the main screen, you have menu as well. So if we're gonna switch to another options, but we're gonna stay in the data set. And again, the way to delete that by starting with the first value and pressing delete is gonna delete all the values we have, and we start entering the values. So the values start from 50, and we continue doing that to the 110. So the last value is 110. Then we start entering the y value. So the first y value we have 30.2. Then we have 29.5. And the last value is 37.2. Then we click on graph 1, and you can see the how the growth, I mean, it goes down and goes to growth, so it's decay and growth. That's represent quadral function. To determine the function for that, we click on calc and we select x power 2 for quadral functions. Now we see the function y equal ax power 2 plus bx plus c, and we have the values of a 4.05, the b value minus 0.5, the c value is 45.49. We replace the a, b, and c values. The final function will be y equal 4.05 multiply x power 2 plus, actually minus, because the value of b is minus, so it's going to be minus 0.5 x plus 45.49 with the rounding. So this way how we could use the graph calculator using the data set to determine the functions for linear, exponential, and quadratic functions. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you. Bye-bye.